Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at Metro Exodus on the Xbox Series S and on the PlayStation 5. Now, for those of you who are new to this game, I would be surprised, number one, because it's quite a popular game. But in case you are, then let me just give you a little bit of a context. Now, Metro Exodus basically is a first-person shooter, and it's developed by 4A Games, and it's published by a company called Deep Silver. Now, this is not the first game in the installment because it's a trilogy of games based on novels which were written by a gentleman called Dmitry Glukowski. I hope I'm not butchering the name. And it basically follows the events of Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. And it's available on all consoles, Xbox One, PS4, PS4 Pro, even on Stadia, or Stadia, as you would call it. And it's also available on the PlayStation 5 and Series X and S. Now that I've spoken about the game a little, let's just jump into it. Now, I always like to include cutscenes in all the gameplay footage that I put out on my channel, and there is a reason as to why I do that. Now, these games have come such a long way, and most of these games tell a story. These cutscenes that you see in the game are an integral part of that storytelling. It moves the narrative forward, and therefore, I feel it's only right that I include some of these cutscenes. It also gives you an idea as to how both these consoles, the Series S and the PlayStation 5 in this case, actually look. Now, a quick word before I move any further. Sometimes what happens is, because I've got a few comments on my previous videos, I do have to point out that what you would see while you're sitting in front of the television might be different to what you would see in this footage. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because this footage has been taken straight out of the PlayStation 5 and the Series S. I have not used any capture device to collect this footage or these footage. I have taken an extract straight from the consoles, and what you see might be different to what you see in real life, in person, when you're sitting in front of your television. Because please note that every television unit, every monitor model is different, is it not? So the HDR setting, the HDR calibration on your televisions, on your monitor, work very differently. So what you see on screen while you are gaming in person would be very different to what you see on this particular video. However, this video will give you context, and I will try to share my experiences moving forward, and whatever I have felt while playing this game, I'm recording that and I'm sharing it with you lovely folks. This is not a technical video. In fact, I'm not a technical person myself. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about this game from a layman's perspective. Like, how would a person who's not so technical talk about the performance of the game on both these consoles? So basically, that's my approach, so that you understand, and hopefully, you'll appreciate where I'm coming from. Now, coming back to this game starts off with a very lengthy cutscene, and it's not until, say, about 5 minutes into the game that you actually get to really do something with the controller and move around. But what I want you to notice, and what I want to share, is that the lighting works very differently on both the consoles. Now, please note that I shut off the HDR on both the consoles, the Series S and on the PlayStation 5 as well. But what I noticed while I was playing it on my Samsung AU9070, that's the model of the television that I play on, is that the PlayStation 5's footage or gameplay looked comparatively darker, but way sharper. Now, even if you look at this particular scene, look at the buildings, they are way more sharper on the PlayStation 5. While I was playing, though, the contrast was better on the PlayStation 5. The Xbox Series S looked much, much brighter. In fact, I didn't even have to switch on the flashlight in some of the areas where I would definitely have to switch it on in PlayStation 5. Also, take a look at that small little bridge and the tunnel or the arc below that. Look at how the lighting works on Series S, and on the PlayStation 5, it's so different. But you can clearly make out that the PlayStation 5 has the much sharper image. The Series S, it's a blurred out image, and especially the objects in the distance. And you can clearly make out the difference in the resolution. Now, speaking of the resolution, now when it comes to your Xbox Series S, the resolution is hovering between, you could say, 900 to 1080p in most of the cases. Most of the cases. The reason why I say most is because this is a graphically intense game, and sometimes it demands too much from the Series S, and therefore some of the reconstruction that the Xbox Series S does is also from 512p data. Yes, that's right. The resolution could drop as low as 512p on the Xbox Series S to maintain a steady frame rate of 60 FPS. Now, all these consoles come with standard, steady 60 FPS, meaning PlayStation 5, Series S, and Series X all benefit from 60 FPS. Now, this game has been basically made from the ground up when it comes to the lighting element, because what Metro Exodus brought to the table with this particular update, the console update, I would say, is an overall work on the lighting rig. So this is very similar to PC's enhanced edition, but there are a couple of differences when it comes to the console versions of the game. And what are those differences? I'm going to talk about it in a jiffy. Now, first of all, to let you know, this game, like I was saying, has been completely reconstructed from the ground up when it comes to the lighting. So basically what you get on this is full ray traced lighting throughout the game. And you will be able to make that out. Every single light source is now ray traced. Now you've got next gen ray tracing, and apart from next gen ray tracing, you've also got denoising, and you'd be able to make that out. Now, in scenes like this, you can make out the draw distance, you can make out the sharpness in the PlayStation 5 image or video, but the Xbox Series S, on the other hand, is a little blurry. Everything is a little blurry. Now, speaking of the technical aspects of the game, although I do not want this to be a very technical video, like I said, I'm going to try and explain this from the layman's perspective. But hey, you've got some high-end technical terms as well. Like, they've used next-gen temporal reconstruction technology when it comes to this particular edition. There is per pixel ray traced global illumination, and there are ray traced emissive surfaces with area shadows. There are infinite number of ray traced light bounces. Then there is atmosphere and transparent surfaces which receive ray traced bounced lighting. So a lot of ray tracing. Bottom line is that, long story short. And in scenes like that, you could have probably made out that both of them have a standard and a very stable 60 FPS. Now, to keep the 60 FPS going, 4A, the company behind it, the developers basically took an approach where they took a hit when it comes to the resolution. So, like I was saying, the Series S sometimes dips down to 512p as well. And it's in scenes like this, and I'm going to put out some pointers as well, especially take a look at the trees, the branches, etc. Look at the sharpness in the image that you have on the PlayStation 5. The Xbox Series S, on the other hand, has a very soft image, and that is because of the fact that, hey, it's I wouldn't say struggling, but it's compromising on that resolution bit. However, having said that, if you take a look at all of this from a distance, so for example, if you're sitting in front of your Xbox Series S on a 4K television and you're playing that, let's say 43-inch television from a distance of 7 to 8 feet, then that difference will not be so apparent. However, the moment you come closer to the screen, for instance, if you now come to say about 3 feet away from your television or from your monitor, then you will definitely, for sure, without a doubt, be able to make out that the Series S has the inferior video quality or image quality when compared to PlayStation 5. And here I am gonna, show you how it's different, I'm going to put up the arrow as well so that you take a look at it. Again, focus on the branches of the tree. Focus on the objects in the distance. For instance, in PlayStation 5, look at that bridge type thing, in the distance. It's comparatively way more clearer. In fact, you have some chimney type pillars as well, which are clearly visible on the PlayStation 5, but it's not visible on the Xbox Series S. And again, it's that sharpness that you get, because overall, all the consoles, especially PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, benefit from 4K textures added to the package as well. But the game does not necessarily run in 4K, because on the Series S, like I told you, it's hovering between 900 to 1080p in most cases, but it dips down to 512p as well. The PlayStation 5, when it comes to the resolution, can go up to 1512p, between 1296 and 1512p. And the Xbox Series X can actually go up to 1728. So the Xbox Series X benefits from the highest resolution when it comes to the consoles. Now, even here in this case, if you would have noticed the clouds, I have put up, certain pointers so that you can actually make out the differences. Even when it comes to that cathedral or that church, you can make out that rope type thingy very clearly on the PlayStation 5. But on the Xbox Series S, it's not very clear. And again, the clouds are very different, and it's got more volume, you could say, when it comes to the clouds on the PlayStation 5. So there are differences that can easily or clearly be made out. However, the Xbox Series S, I must tell you, is doing a respectable job, because the ray traced reflections on the water, when it comes to the Series S, it's doing a very, very good job. I mean, it's respectable, you can say. Now, speaking of ray tracing again, the PC version of this game also benefits from advanced ray traced reflections, which are missing on the consoles. But having said that, it's still doing a great job. I mean, it gives you a feel that this game has truly evolved from the edition which we received before this update, which happened mid-year this year in 2021. Now, apart from the advanced ray traced reflections, you also have support for DLSS 2.0 on the PC Enhanced Edition, which is missing on your consoles. But apart from that, the console editions, whether it's your S, X, or PlayStation 5, they do a very, very good job. And it's such a great game. And this new update, or I should rather say upgrade, added new life to this particular game. And I will highly recommend that you play this game. If you have got a PlayStation 5 or a Series X at home, then the first console that I would recommend would be Series X, because, hey, it plays at 60 FPS on all the consoles, the new gen or the current gen consoles. But the Series X has the highest resolution, followed by PlayStation 5, which would be the second choice. And lastly, your Xbox Series S. But from the price to value ratio, the Series S is doing a commendable job, and it gives you your money's worth. Now, also note that when it comes to these third-party games, I have noticed that the Series S and X do a great job actually at optimizing every single bit of the game. And 4A, the developers behind it, they've done a respectable job, a commendable job, in fact, I would say, when it comes to the performance on the Series S, because I did not experience any frame drops, any screen tearing, any bad things happening during my gameplay on the Series S, which is a great testimony of how far these developers, 4A, have actually come and how they have improved the overall gaming experience, not just for PC gamers, but also for console gamers, especially even the entry-level console, which is your Xbox Series S. And it's incredible that you actually get ray-traced reflections on a $300 machine. So it's quite something. It's quite something. But in this comparison, the PlayStation 5 definitely takes the cake. And if I have to choose between a console to play this game on, then my pick, because this is a comparison, I have to choose one, is obviously the PlayStation 5, because not only does it have the 60 FPS, but it also benefits from a higher resolution, meaning your overall gaming experience is going to be so much more better. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this comparison. And if you have, then please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and also hit that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. I do make videos like this on my channel, And if you like this type of content, then you can even share it with your friends and family members. Well, we have come to the end of this video, but before I leave, I would like to wish everybody season's greetings and Happy New Year in advance. May all of you have a blessed and a very prosperous 2022 and also the years to follow. Now, with that said, it's a wrap for this one. And I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'd say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.